Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally happening after months. No, wait, years of frustration, delays, flat out lies. Millions of Americans are finally waking up to something that they never thought that they would see. We're seeing huge Social Security checks landing in their bank accounts, some over $8,000, and it's all happening this week, guys. And this is not some rumor. This is not a theory. This is real. And it's backed by official documents from the Social Security Administration. But here's the catch. Only certain people are actually getting the payments right now, okay? And if you're not one of them, then you need to hear why Elon Musk, Doge, and President Biden, or I should say former President Biden, are in an all-out battle over who gets paid next and who gets left behind. Now, today, guys, we're going to break down who is actually getting these massive retroactive checks right now, why seniors or some seniors are waking up to $1,000 per month raises. I know it sounds crazy. Meanwhile, others are getting nothing. And the shocking fraud that Elon Musk says that he just uncovered inside of the Social Security Administration. And guys, whether you yourself could very well be next to receive a Doge dividend stimulus check funded by trillions of dollars in clawbacks. So I've got the receipts, guys. I want to show you exactly what is going out, when, and what President Biden's administration does not want you to know about the exploding fraud, the scandal that could change Social Security forever. So buckle up, guys, because this is not just any update. This is a financial earthquake. And if you miss it, you could miss your check. By the way, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate you guys' support. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much for that. And also, don't forget to join our newsletter down below. Breaking news is totally free. Now, if you or someone you love is on Social Security, listen closely, because what's happening right now, it's bigger than just a few boosted payments. This is the largest wave of Social Security back pay that we've seen in modern history. And it's all going out this week, which is wild. And here's how it works. For years, millions of Americans were penalized simply because maybe they also had a public sector pension. This included teachers, firefighters, police officers, even people who worked overseas. I know it doesn't make any sense, and it's not fair. And if you agree it's not fair, let me know in the comments. Now, the government said, hey, you have a pension, then we're going to go ahead and slash your Social Security. Why? Two little known provisions were responsible for this. This was the windfall elimination provision, also known as the WEP, and then, of course, the government pension offset. I don't know who came up with these rules, but they're ruining people's lives. Those two rules cost retirees thousands of dollars every single year, and many people didn't even know it until it was too late. But now, thanks to the Social Security Fairness Act, those rules have just been overturned. And here's where it gets wild, guys. Here's where it gets wild. If you were affected by the WEP or the GPO, the Social Security Administration is not just increasing your monthly benefits, they're actually sending you a retroactive lump sum check covering an entire year of underpayments. Isn't that wild? I mean, I'm like really excited. I'm so excited to just share this positive news with you guys. That means that people are waking up to anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000, even $8,000 checks hitting their bank accounts. And I say bank accounts because most people have direct deposit. I don't know if anybody even in our audience is getting a paper check anymore. And we're hearing the reports directly. In fact, one viewer came, they said, hey, SSA dropped a big, huge check in my bank account saying that they got like $5,800 in their bank account. Now, guys, this is not a scam. It's real. It's happening right now. And more than 3 million Americans are expected to receive these payments over the next few weeks. But let's talk about who's not celebrating yet. Well, while millions are finally getting paid what they're owed, it's about freaking time. Elon Musk, he just pulled back the curtain on the dark side of Social Security. And what he found, guys? It's almost too insane to believe.
Elon Musk says that the Department of Government Efficiency is on track to save American taxpayers $150 billion.
I'm excited to announce that we anticipate savings in FY26 from reduction of waste and fraud by $150 billion. And I mean, and some of it is just absurd, like people getting unemployment insurance who haven't been born yet. I mean, I think anyone can appreciate whether, I mean, come on, that's just crazy.
I know that was just 1 year. All right. Doge also found hundreds of millions of dollars in fake unemployment claims. Get this, guys. Since 2020, over 24,000 people over 115 years old claimed $59 million in benefits. 28,000 people between 1 and 5 years old claimed $254 million. Nearly 10,000 with birth dates over 15 years in the future claimed $69 million. And in one case, someone with a birthday in 2154 claimed $41,000. Because now apparently we're all time traveling. And yet Democrats are still trying to run Elon Musk out of town. Axios reports that they're launching a campaign to oust him by May 30th on a, quote, legal technicality where Musk's special government employee status can't exceed 130 days. Now, failed vice presidential candidate Tim Walz has been lobbying nonstop attacks on Musk.
My beef is, once you get successful, don't be a greedy and not pay your taxes. But I don't think we should be the party that demonizes someone because they're able to afford something or they're able to work hard and got something. What we should demonize is people like Elon Musk and those people that do that. That's different.
Haley, all right, let's go in reverse cron here. So I'm going to do the last one first.
Thank you. Yes.
Which is the audacity of Governor Walz to single out Elon Musk as like a bad billionaire. When we talk about contributions to society, he's done nothing but help this society, medical developments, rescuing astronauts and more. And yet George Soros, for example, a billionaire that has led directly to the destruction of society, deaths, and yet that's who Walz is calling to demonize?
Yeah, I love that we're starting in reverse order because that really teed me off. Elon Musk. What has this man contributed to the globe? SpaceX, the first time private sector sent people up into space. And then, oh, wait, you rescue the astronauts who have been stranded there for months and months and months. And then you look over at Tim Walz. And what has Tim Walz given us? Stolen valor, a ton of mistruths that were all spoken about and came to light in the campaign, a failed vice presidential run, and rooting against an American stock that, oh, wait, in your state, your retirement fund happens to own as one of the key stocks. He rooted against the Tesla stock. So Tim Walz, we're going to go with the guy, Elon Musk, who continually innovates, continually makes lives better as you look at your little phone and your stock app and cheer every time Tesla goes down.
Cheryl, talk to me about the attention that the left is placing on what seems to me a misplaced target. So they're obsessed now with getting Elon Musk out of there after the 130 days that you can only work per 365. With no attention paid to the astronomical figures I read, the ridiculousness of who we've been paying in the form of waste, fraud, and abuse. Why is there no attention on that and a thank you given to Elon Musk?
How about a thank you for the transparency that he and the Doge team have put out there? You can go onto the website right now. They've got a live tracker for Doge, and it shows dollar per dollar how much they have saved the American taxpayer. That is you, America. This is volunteer work being done by the world's richest man. And instead of getting a thank you, his employees are getting attacked. There's about 119,000 of them. Vehicles are being attacked. Dealerships are being torched. And he is being completely open and honest with all the work that they are doing. In fact, that entire team is a bunch of very wealthy people that could be, I don't know, sitting on an island they bought instead of trying to help the American economy, come back. $36 trillion in debt, folks. We're in serious trouble. And he cares about that. Versus, sorry, most politicians who have never seen a dollar they didn't want to spend.
Yeah, why isn't the headline on the New York Times 2154? Just keep it that, short and simple, representing the bloated waste, the ridiculous fraud we've all been paying for years.
Well, first, I want to commend those people who have not been born yet, who've already started to save. I think they are a financial planner's dream come true. They're doing everything we're told we're supposed to do. Look, this is a hill for Republicans to die on. Republicans cannot for decades say we're against excess spending. We want balanced budgets. If they don't back up Elon Musk and if they don't take the tough votes required to save money and get rid of these programs, go after the waste, go after the fraud, and yes, on Medicaid, even go after the excessive Medicaid programs. These are areas where if Republicans don't follow through on what they promise, Republicans, what do they stand for? Die on the hill of reducing government spending. That's the biggest difference between the parties.
So Elon Musk's new agency, it's his baby. They call it Doge. That just means the Department of Government Efficiency. They've been digging deep into Social Security Administration's backyard, so to speak. And let me tell you what they found, guys. Well, according to Doge, 40% of all SSA phone claims are fake. They're imposters. That's millions of fraudsters every single week stealing benefits that were meant for you. And get this, Doge found that over 24,000 people aged anywhere from 1 to 5 somehow collected $254 million in benefits. How do we have 24,000 people between 1 and 5 years old collecting $254 million in benefits? That's crazy, right? Even worse though, nearly 10,000 people with birth dates in the future, some as far out as 2154, successfully filed for benefits. Who the heck approved someone with a birth date and the date didn't even happen yet? Anyway, so let me say, guys, I want to say this as clearly as I can. If these claims are true, that money was stolen from you, from retirees, from disabled Americans, from survivors who depend on that check to survive. And so this is why Elon Musk is going full throttle mode. All right. He's rolling out new safeguards, phone screening, fraud flagging, ID verification, the whole shebang. Common sense, right? But apparently it took Doge to actually get it done. Now, if you're against ID verification, let me know in the comments down below. But I think most people are on board with Elon Musk's demanding of more verification to eliminate the fraud. I think it makes common sense, but y'all let me know. By the way, those of you just joining us in live, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support. But here's where things get even more interesting, because with all of that fraud being stopped, the government they're now sitting on billions of dollars in recovered funds. So the question is this: could you be next in line for a Doge dividend stimulus check? Well, we're going to talk about the exact number just hit on the Doge live tracker in just a minute, and how one line in a new bill in Congress could theoretically send thousands of dollars straight to your mailbox. Well, most people aren't getting paper checks, so straight to your bank account. All right, guys, so buckle up, because what I'm about to share with you is so massive. It's honestly hard to believe that it's not been a lead story on every single news channel in America. I don't know why they're not talking about this. As of now, Doge, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, has officially clawed back $155 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse. So let me say that again. $155 billion of your taxpayer money saved. That's massive. So this is equal to like $96,000 in savings per taxpayer if we were to like divide it equally. And remember, this is just 7.5% right about of their goal. Doge is aiming for a whole $1 trillion clawback. And they think they're going to hit this thing by May. I mean, we only got like 2 weeks, but that's what they're saying. But get this, guys. I actually found something that will absolutely save you some serious time. It will save you some serious money, and it's going to save you a whole lot of stress. Who here would benefit from less stress? Who here would benefit from a little bit of extra money? Even if you didn't get new money, what if you could like save money, right? I mean, I'm down for that. Well, I found Chapter is hands down the best help for Medicare. Now, if you haven't called Chapter yet, you got to check these guys out, because whether you're already on Medicare or maybe you're turning 65 soon, they're experts. These guys are sharp and they're so nice. I mean, like, they're they're really nice. Their experts will walk you through everything, like making sure your doctors are covered, exploring every local plan to check to see if you even qualify for extra benefits. It's wild what they're doing over there. And the fact that they're doing this for free, it's like, who are these people? They might be like undercover angels or something. I don't know. They search every plan in your area, and the average person's saving like around $1,100 a year. And it's 100% free. It's like, why am I not calling them already? 100% free, no pressure, no gimmicks. It's like, if you're turning 65, if you are 65 or older, maybe you've got a parent that's turning 65 or whatever, give them a call. Medicare is complicated, but they make everything so simple. They do all the thinking for you. They just ask, literally, I'm gonna leave the number in the description down below this video. You can call them on the phone. Their phone number is 909-563-8279, or you could go to the website. Their website's askchapter.org/Ron. I'll leave a link for you guys in the description down below, maybe even in a pinned comment as well, so you can get started. But they're so nice. But yeah, hit those guys up. And when you talk to them, tell them, just say, hey, Ron said hi. Just say that to them. I bet you they'll get a kick out of that. But yeah, give them a call, guys. But here's the $1 million question, or the $1 billion question, really. What happens to all this money that gets saved from Doge, right? Like, where does it actually go? Do we trust Washington, D.C. to suddenly do the right thing with it? Because they've been squandering our money all along, right? Like, why should we even trust them now, right? Or does it come back to you? Well, right now, there's a proposal that's on the table from economist by the name of James Fishback. It's being discussed in Congress right now, and it could be a part of this new reconciliation bill that just passed framework. It's called the Doge dividend. Now, here's how it works, guys. Congress, they would take 20% of Doge's savings. Currently, that's about a little over $30 billion, and they would distribute it directly to American citizens in the form of stimulus refund checks. Now, they already got my vote. But guess what? Who qualifies? Worked or paid taxes in the last 5 years, currently receiving Social Security, disabled or retired individuals who've paid into the system. And if you're on Social Security, well, guess what? You were actually first in line. That's right, guys. Front of the line, according to the proposal. Why? Well, it's because you already paid into the system, so you earned it. That's why. I think that's a big enough why for me. But they're calling it a stimulus refund, a Doge dividend, a patriotic payout. But let's be clear here. This is not some handout. This is your money clawed back from the scammers, from the fraudsters and the bloated agencies. And James Fishback's proposal says it should come back to you. And I happen to agree with the guy. So send me my check, okay? But here's the twist, guys. So the bill's in reconciliation, which means Congress is hammering out the different line items right now. We've been through this before. They've actually done this before in the last 4 years, a couple of times, actually. So there's no reason to think that it can't happen. So that's the cool thing. We've already seen this. In fact, the president in the office right now, President Trump, has already done this before. Trump has said he wants the Doge dividend included. He also said that he wants to end taxation on Social Security checks and even remove taxes on tips and overtime. But will they include this? Will Democrats block it? Well, we're watching every single move in Congress, because if this thing passes, you could see a second unexpected check hitting your mailbox later this year. Mark my words. Now, if you think if you think that the current administration is just sitting back and watching this thing unfold, you would be wrong. Because for the first time since leaving the White House, Joe Biden is stepping back into the spotlight. He's actually got something to say about Social Security, Elon Musk, and Doge. Now, this guy, he didn't get reelected. Why does his opinion or his words even matter? So today, April 15th, tax day, 2025, Biden's given a public address to the National Conference of Advocates, Counselors, and Representatives of the Disabled in Chicago. And the subject? Social Security reform, the Doge investigation, and of course, the administration's role in the chaos. Go figure, right? So Biden's expected to push back hard on claims from Elon Musk and Doge that fraud exploded under his watch. Apparently, he was mad hearing all the stories coming out about it, and he's tired of sitting on the sidelines, so he want to say his piece. According to insiders, he'll defend his administration's record and double down on the idea that his Social Security Fairness Act already solved the biggest problems. But here's what makes this even more explosive here, guys. The very same conference is featuring a speech from Martin Ali, the man Biden appointed to lead the SSA. And yes, the same SSA that Elon Musk says was riddled with internal fraud and corruption. Isn't that ironic? So now it's not just about policy. It's about power. It's about accountability. It's about legacy. And this could very well be a make or break moment for how the American public views both Joe Biden and Elon Musk in this battle over Social Security. And while Elon Musk is, essentially revealing the wild stats and the clawbacks of billions of dollars, critics are lining up to call it exaggerated. They're saying Elon Musk is lying. There's no proof. This is overblown. And in some cases, they're saying he's just flat out false. A growing list of media outlets, including the New York Times, the Associated Press, and so-called retirement experts from groups like Retirement Genius, they're publicly dismissing Elon Musk's claims. They argue that fraud is minimal and that the system's already efficient and that Elon Musk is using Doge to push a narrative and inflame political divisions. So let me get this straight. You're saying 24,000 toddlers, babies, collect $250 million in benefits, 10,000 time travelers cash Social Security checks from the year 2154, and the mainstream media says there's nothing to see here, folks? What?
Stop the scam. After Doge revealed nearly half of the Social Security Administration's daily calls are from scammers trying to steal the benefits, the agency is finally cracking down. Starting today, all phone claims get screened for fraud. Red flags, you've got to show up in person and you're showing ID. Showing ID, what a concept here. So novel. But Musk says that it's common sense approaches like this that will save billions of dollars and make sure that Social Security is here for future generations.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of Doge, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of Doge, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less.
But is fighting fraud enough? We're staring down a $78 trillion shortfall in Social Security and Medicare. That's the combined net worth of over 200 Elon Musks. So Washington can't just patch the holes here. It's got to right the whole ship. Congressman, I want to come to you to get your thoughts on this. And we have a full screen here that we can show to everyone to just illustrate how Medicaid costs have absolutely skyrocketed since the year 2000. Going through 2023, they have gone up by more than 300%, roughly 350%. We're talking around from roughly $200 billion in 2000 to over $900 billion in 2023. We cannot continue on this path, but I'm wondering, how can members of the GOP talk about reining this in without being accused of cutting everyone's benefits? Because that's what they're being accused of.
Yeah, and it's no matter what they do, they're going to be accused of that. And they understand there's a double standard here. So let me just tell you, so when I was chairman of the Ways and Means Committee in President Trump's first term, someone tried to steal my Social Security benefits.
Wow.
And we have oversight over Social Security. And we had someone trying to scam that. This is real. So the short answer is every dollar that Elon Musk can save, integrity and so is helpful. Yeah, these are huge numbers. I think at the end of the day, it's gonna take a bipartisan effort to save Social Security. I think you're going to have to, there's some common sense things that can be done to slowly raise the full retirement age, means test for the wealthy, get a cost of living that relates to seniors, not 20-somethings. You know what I mean? There's some really good things, but it would help to start with some integrity, you know what I mean, within the Social Security Administration. I think that's the value of what Elon Musk is doing.
I think you're absolutely right. And it shocks me when just we take the waste and the fraud, and you've got Democrats who don't want to get rid of that, can't agree to that. But also ideologically, Congressman, we've got a major issue because it's the Democrats versus the Republicans that want to expand these programs. President Obama did it with Medicaid. President Biden did it. The reason those numbers jump so much is because you've got illegal immigrants that shouldn't be on the program. Dagan's highlighted the fact that you've got states that don't do income checks. They just let people go on the rolls. And the expansion of that, when you give things, then it becomes very hard to take them away from people. And they're out there. Pandora's box has been opened. And now you see the Republican senators who feel conflicted because they're afraid. They're afraid if they get on board with Mike Johnson and these kinds of spending cuts, people are going to say exactly what Lydia said. You're throwing Granny off the cliff. I'm not going to vote for you.
Yeah, and it's there and it's real, and people back home buy it. But I think more and more Republicans, are willing to lean into and explain, like get out there on the campaign trail and explain why every dollar they save strengthens it.
Right.
For the poor, Medicaid's a great example. We're under Obamacare. You incentivize the wealth or more well-to-do who aren't working, mainly men. But you starve the single mom who's giving birth or senior in a nursing home. That makes no sense at all. Republicans, to their credit, want to change the way we provide that safety net in a good way.
Well, but there are some Republicans who are not so strong on this right now. Like they are, the spine is, what was the line? It's the spine like a chocolate eclair. I think that's what Roosevelt said about McKinley or something like that. But that's what some of these guys operate like. The senator from Missouri, Josh Hawley. He's out there, and there's a lot of things I like about him, but man, he does not want to talk Medicaid. And I'm looking at some of these numbers, and these were actually, I didn't know, you've got 21 million able-bodied people on Medicaid, okay? Now, many of them probably need that, but you've got 6 in 10 of those people who don't earn any income. How can the vision of a Republican Party be, I want to protect a system that it seems to be better at keeping able-bodied people out of work than fostering them getting into work? Like if you don't believe in work as a Republican, you should find a different party or a different profession because you are not helping the American people. So I wish there were more Republicans who had a little more spine in articulating that philosophical message about work and the role of government in that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And, there have been efforts to introduce the work requirements. I think it was a couple of years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, Congressman, but there were talks about asking people that were receiving Medicare, Medicaid, to work 20 hours a week, just 20. And the concessions, the exemptions that the GOP was offering were quite generous. If you were taking care of children, if you're taking care of an elderly person, if you were pregnant, you could get an exemption from this 20-hour per week work requirement. And yet, it didn't come to fruition.
It's so reasonable. And in 2019, we did welfare reform 2.0 under President Trump, got it out of the House, work requirement for everyone in helping people get into that job. That's what Republicans stand for.
And Medicaid was expanded under Obamacare. And that's how working age, able-bodied men were able to get on it. And it needs to be dialed back. It's 60% bigger in terms of the spend than it was in 2019. It needs to be dialed back to what it originally was, but left, right, and center, they won't take a dime away from anybody. And there's a loophole that the states use, like California, where they raise taxes on the healthcare providers, then they take the money and spend it on Medicaid as if it's an organic spend, and then they get a 60 cents for every dollar offset from the federal government. And California is using that to provide Medicaid for illegal aliens and rich people. And it is against the law to provide Medicaid for illegal aliens, but Gavin Newsom somehow is doing it and getting away with it because they won't close that loophole at the federal level.
So look, I get it. If you don't like Elon Musk, I understand. Not everybody likes Elon Musk. I get it. It's cool. It's okay, right? But you cannot deny that billions of dollars are being clawed back. And seniors are finally getting paid what they're freaking owed. That's just fair. But yeah, so here's where things get really heated. So Doge is under fire now. Lawsuits are flying in, and now these unions are demanding a full investigation into Elon Musk's access to your Social Security data. What are they so afraid of? Like, could this be the beginning of a coordinated takedown of the Doge dividend itself? Now, all right, guys, so here's where things get a little dirty, because the moment Elon Musk and Doge started saving billions of your taxpayer dollars, mind you, guess what happened? The lawsuits started flying in. In March, there's a coalition of labor unions. They filed a federal lawsuit against Doge and the SSA. Why? Why are they doing this? Well, it's because they say Doge is collecting too much personal data, including Social Security numbers, addresses, and private income details. Really? They're basically accusing Elon Musk of government overreach, claiming that Doge's fraud investigation could be violating privacy rights. Here's the kicker, guys. They even want to shut the thing down. They want to shut down Doge. Comment down below if you are against them shutting down Doge. If you are, just say don't shut down Doge. And if I need to start a petition to block these guys, let me know if you would be willing to sign it. But here's what they're not telling you guys. The very fraud that Elon Musk is uncovering, it's often committed by insiders, people who already had access to the data, the employees of the SSA. Now, one internal employee allegedly stole over 400,000 Social Security accounts from inside the SSA. And now they want to block the only agency that's actually cleaning up this problem? Something's a little funny here. And I also think it's funny how nobody sued when the fraud was quietly siphoning off and stealing from your retirement. But the moment someone tries to step in and stop it, they scream invasion of privacy. Something's a little off here, right? Meanwhile, on the other side of the battlefield, President Trump is building a legislative bombshell. He calls it the Big Beautiful Bill, and it just passed the budget reconciliation framework. Now, they're working on the line items and whatnot, but what's in it could change everything for Social Security, guys. I mean, heck. So what's Trump pushing for? This is the question a lot of people are asking. What in the world is Trump pushing for? Well, he wants to make Social Security payments tax-free. I think that's a great thing. Include the Doge dividend refund checks. I think that's phenomenal. He wants to end taxes on tips and overtime pay. When I used to be an hourly employee, I used to get clobbered in taxes whenever I worked overtime. And then he also wants to make the 2017 Trump tax cuts permanent. Okay. And heading up Social Security now, Trump's own pick, Frank what's his name? Frank B. He basically got confirmed in March. He vowed to keep Social Security public, no privatization, like they're alleging that Elon Musk and Trump are trying to do. There's not going to be any privatization. There's no gimmicks. His exact words, this is a government agency that should work for the people. That's it. So what we've got here is, in my opinion, I think it's a very clear contrast. One side is suing to stop these reforms. The other side is building a path to real relief, real protection, and real money back in our pocket. The only question is, will Congress pass it? And will you be one of the Americans who benefits if they do? But of course, what we have to talk about is we got to expose this Medicaid fraud machine that's draining the system dry, how these illegal loopholes are being exploited across state lines, and also why some Republicans are finally finding the spine to say, hey, enough is enough. Now, while millions of Americans are out here struggling to afford prescriptions and put food on the table, guess who's getting full government health care on your dime and my dime? Well, according to the latest GOP-led oversight report, Medicaid spending has exploded by over 60% since 2019, thanks in part to expansions under Obama and Biden. Now, here's the part that should probably make your blood boil. 21 million able-bodied adults are currently on Medicaid. Over 60% of them have no income, no work, no taxes, just benefits. Republicans in Congress have tried to introduce some simple work requirements, like working a measly 20 hours a week if you're healthy and not caring for someone. And yet, Democrats shot it down. Why? Because it might actually encourage people to work again. Duh. Unbelievable. So let me ask you this. Why are we disincentivizing work in a country that's built on work ethic? And why are illegal immigrants receiving Medicaid in states like California while veterans and seniors are stuck fighting for crumbs and homeless in many cases? What's up with that? California is using this shady budget loophole to basically redirect federal funds to illegal aliens and even wealthy individuals. And yes, this is happening right now with your taxpayer dollars. Meanwhile, people who paid into the system, like me and you, who built this country, are getting means tested, delayed, or even taxed. This thing is like backwards. And Republicans like Speaker Mike Johnson, Representative Scalise, they're finally saying enough is enough, guys. This is it. They got to draw a line somewhere. And so while the system bleeds at home, guess what's finally turning the tide internationally? President Trump's new tariff strategy is reshaping the global trade again. And he's expanded emergency tariffs known as Section 232 tariffs to include pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, copper, steel, aluminum, autos, and more. But why? Well, it's because China still controls the ingredients for our medicines. Taiwan still dominates our chip supply. And Trump's saying, not anymore, guys. Not on my dime. Not on my watch. According to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, over 75 countries have now reached out to negotiate new trade terms with the U.S. Japan is already on board. South Korea, India, they're next in line. It's simple. Trump is using tariffs as leverage. No more begging, no more lopsided deals. If you want access to the U.S. market, play fair or pay up. That's it. So we're seeing nearly $4 trillion in private investment flowing into America. That's trillion with a T. $4 trillion in private investment money flowing into America. Jobs, factories, infrastructure, because of Trump's tough trade stance. It's brilliant. And remember, this isn't just about economics. More jobs at home equals fewer people relying on broken programs like Medicaid. It's all connected. And it's all a part of what Trump calls a transition to greatness. But there's actually one last bombshell that we absolutely have to talk about. Because while Trump and Elon Musk are fixing this mess, they've just exposed over $9 billion in insane government waste, like Sesame Street in Iraq and vegan food in Zambia. And yes, your taxpayer dollars paid for it. Now, before I tell you exactly when the check is coming, let me show you where your money has been going instead. Because what you're about to hear, it's not satire. This is not a joke. I'm not kidding. This is what government actually spent your tax dollars on. Now, as part of the ongoing Doge audit, Elon Musk and his team uncovered $9.1 billion in spending. That makes absolutely no sense. None. $3 million for voter ID programs in Haiti, $6 million for net zero cities in Mexico, $750,000 to reduce xenophobia in Venezuela, $8,000 to promote vegan food in Zambia, and yes, $3 million for Iraq Sesame Street. Yeah, okay. Let me ask you, has anyone ever called you to ask if you're okay with any of that spending? They didn't call me. I'll just let you know right here. Because while seniors here in the United States are scraping by, Sesame Street was getting sequels in Baghdad. President Trump is now demanding that all of this money gets clawed back immediately. And Doge is just getting started. The $9 billion is just a drop in a bucket compared to what they believe is buried in these slush funds and backdoor agency spending. So where does all of this go? Well, Doge is saving billions. Trump is rewriting trade deals. Biden is finally speaking up. Congress is working on the line items for the reconciliation bill. And you? Well, you're about to get paid if you're one of the lucky ones included in this week's Social Security wave. So here's the confirmed payment schedule from SSA as of April 15, 2025. And this is when you're going to see your increased Social Security checks if you happen to qualify under the Fairness Act. All right. So we got April 9th, birthdays between the 1st and the 10th. April 16th, if your birthday is between the 11th and the 20th. April 23rd for birthdays between the 21st and the 31st. Now, if you're on SSI, you only actually get one check in April, but you'll be getting two checks in May 1st and May 30th, though. So keep that in mind. So if you have not gotten your check yet, keep your eye on your mailbox, maybe your direct deposit, because it should be coming. And for the rest of you guys asking, well, what about me? Well, stay tuned, guys, because if the Doge dividend is added to this bill, a second check could hit before summer. Now, now more than ever, you got to stay informed because the next 30 days could define the next 30 years of Social Security. So if you don't mind, do me a quick favor, hit the subscribe button, tap the like button. I really do appreciate when you guys hit the like button and drop a comment down below. Just type in Doge stimulus if you want that refund, that Doge dividend stimulus refund check approved in the final bill. But yeah, this is not just news, guys. This is history in the making. And I'm going to keep bringing it to you here step by step as it unfolds. Remember, our friends at Chapter are standing by, waiting to help you out with Medicaid or Medicare. It's unbelievably complicated. I think the government does it on purpose. That's why our friends at Chapter are like Medicare experts, and they're just angels doing all this for free. So like I said before, I'll leave a link for you guys in the description down below so you can reach our friends over at Chapter and let them know your boy Ron sent you. I mean, seriously, tell them Ron said hello. Link in the description down below. It's totally free. And the average senior is saving like $1,100 a year. It's just crazy how much they're able to save. They're able to find you like some benefits you didn't even know you had. It's almost like potentially leaving money on the table if you don't call them. Like who wouldn't want to save money, right? Like, anyway, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Hit the like button, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.